Hello. I want to share with you one of the parts in my course, Initiation to the Ancient Egyptian Spirituality and Cosmology. And this is basically the starting point of understanding what is ancient Egyptian spirituality is all about. We had to start from the very beginning, from how everything started, from the creation of the world, the story of creation, and how the cosmos was initiated in the first place. And this part that I chose, uh, it is very integral in our daily life. It's very practical. And this is how the Egyptians saw it and how they used it in their rituals and how they used it in their approach in their life. And it's very practical that we can use it and apply it today very easily. It actually is a catalyst for us to remove some of the obstacles that is keeping us from um, freeing ourselves from what is tying us down to the physical world and stopping us from growing and going up and higher into our spiritual path. So, this part is called the intelligence of the heart. The Egyptians saw this concept, the intelligence of the heart, as the communicating bridge between them and between the divine. So they did not see them as separate things. They did not see the human beings or themselves or you and me as something separate or in a different world than where the divine is or where the Nitru are, which are the different divine aspects of the one creator. But they saw them as um, communicating with each other in different ways. And there were different ways to pierce that concept, to activate it, and to know how to work with it, how to approach the divine, how to communicate with them, how to give offerings, and how to receive the gifts that you can get from them. And that was for them a way to get closer to the divine part that is in every one of us, that is deep inside our hearts, that is untouched, that is always pure. And this is our connection to our Creator. But how they did that? You need to activate the intelligence of the heart so that you can start your initiation process. So you can start the conversation with the divine. You can start to understand more about the nature of you and with who created you. And to do that, to activate the intelligence of the heart, we need to work with three qualities so that to awaken it, to activate it, to pierce it. The first one is called synchronicity. And in the Egyptian mind, synchronicity makes it possible for us to participate in anything that is related to the divine. It makes us more aligned with our creator. It makes us more connected to that principle because the life was seen as a cyclic event. It was not viewed as a linear process, but it was a sort of synchronized events. Each event would affect the other. They were not separate. They were not in a linear line. But whatever we do in our world would have an effect with the cosmos, would have an effect with the divine, and vice versa. Whatever was created in the cosmos was reflected and was synchronized to our level, to the human or the material level. So, in that regards, that started the conversation between those different realms and different worlds, if you would say. So everything was happening on more than one level simultaneously. There was no coincidences. There was nothing was left to chance. Um, so this was like, you can consider that the underlying principle that everything was built on top of it, that we are mutually speaking the same language. Whatever I do with myself is impactful on a bigger picture. Whatever happens in the micro happens on the macro. So this idea of chances did not exist within that concept, within the concept of synchronicity. Every event that occurs and has a relationship with another realm. It is interconnected. They are very much merged into one another. They emerge collectively, and they are governed by the same umbrella or the same laws of the cosmos. So what does that mean for us? This means that we can perceive our life not as a linear sequence, not as if I do this here, it's not going to affect anything else. Or if I think this thought, it will just be a thought. No, everything you do actually can shape your reality and can shape what is yet to come. So, what happens now can shape what has happened before and can shape what will yet to happen, because they are all working together in a sort of a cycle, in a sort of a circular motion, not as a linear principle. So our inner states should align with our external environment. And in that way, we can live more in harmony with everything around us. And in that way, we can shape our reality and we can shape our destiny. It's not fixed, it's not unchangeable. It is very much whatever you choose at this time and at this moment in your heart and in your mind, and what comes out of you. This is what simultaneity or synchronicity means. So if you think of that concept and start to apply it and be aware every time you think of something, and be aware of every time you choose something, that it will have an impact or on another plane. And perhaps this is you could see it, it's very similar to the law of dharma and karma in the Indian philosophy. But this is the Egyptian version of it. The second concept in activating the intelligence of your heart, it's called pairing, or the complementary opposites. So the Egyptians saw that everything that was created in duality. It has two polars. It is created with its opposite. But it did not mean that they were in conflicting matters, but they were more of a complementary forces. They were essential for everything to be created and to grow. And to understand a concept, you have to be familiar with its opposite concept. You have to be aware how it works, and to be able to access one thing, you have to master its opposite, and you have to be friends with its negative effect, so that you understand its limits and you can work where do you want to go with it, where you can find that balance, because it was always about finding the balance. When you master both concepts, that allows you to find the midpoint, which is the balance between them. And this idea of pairing was applied on all the ideas in the ancient Egyptian spirituality to achieve the balance, because balance or ma'at was always the aim. So mastering this concept of pairing or opposites was the key to achieve balance. And you will see it a lot in a lot of the ancient Egyptian concepts like Hor and Set, which Hor represents, the awakening, the realization, the ascension, the moving or the transmutation and transcendence to light, where Set was the concept of the darkness, or the concept of more anything associated more with the ego or with the self, that is more tied down to the material world, to the earthly matters. And we need to have both. It's not a matter of choice, but it's a matter of understanding and digesting both concepts, where you can find the balance between them, where you see where each one will get you, and you try to work on both concepts until you master the harmony between them, the complementary forces rather than the fighting forces. Or there is another example, which is Wadjet and Nikhbet, which are also the two forces. One was the symbol of the cobra, which was the symbol of the active, the fire, the more sun aspects, the more masculine aspects, the more mind and learning things with the brain. And the other one was the more softer one, with the more feminine one, was the lotus symbol, was the more spiritual, the more magic, the more feminine, the moon aspects of us. And one cannot exist without the other. You could see them as opposing forces, but they are not really. They need one another. One needs the other to exist. You can only feel and see one concept only if you experience its opposite. But if only one of them exists, you will not see the value of it. You will not even feel it. You will not sense it, because it will all be the same. Also, it's the lotus and papyrus. These are all concepts that you need to dissolve their differences, then rather than fighting each other, rather than trying to find victory. It's not a fight. It's rather you want to work with how to ascend that difference between them, how to melt with fire what's making them not merge to each other. It's like alchemy. You want to transcend it by dissolving its difference. So once their differences dissolve and you know how to work with both of them, then you reach the unified state of balance, and you can ascend with both concepts in everything in your life. So that was the second concept, which is the pairing or the complementary forces. The third one is called the correspondence, or as above, so below. And that concept was associated with Jahuti, the scribe of the gods. And it might be the most important or the most profound insight, because in that concept we see it basically says that Egypt or Earth were regarded as the precise map or the reflection of the heavens in the sky. So nothing is regarded or treated as separate. Everything has a correspondence, an effect, and reflection. So whatever happens inside us happens outside. Whatever change inside us can change the universe, can be the new reality we want in our life. So because everything vibrates with a certain frequency and with a certain vibration, but the origin is the same. Everything vibrates, even in all the range of states. So even in the most solid and inert states, there is some sort of vibration. Even in the most elevated and spiritual and high in energy states, it's a very high vibration, but they all have the same base. They all exist, but in some in the lowest counterparts and some in the higher counterparts. So no matter what the force is that might seem to you, let's say, dark or bad or evil, the Egyptians didn't believe in those concepts because they understood that they are all vibrating in one way or another. They all come from the same source, which is divine. So their origin is divine. Their origin is pure and sacred. So there is no separation. In that view, there was no absolute good or absolute evil because everything around us are reflections in the other of the other different worlds or levels that we live in. It is only levels or degrees of those divine forces that are present within everything, within all the possibilities. So this is why as above, so below, because you will find the similarities in everything that happens in this, in above you or inside you or around you. It is a mirror that changes in the universe. It is what you want to see outside. You have to start with yourself first. What you want to emit outwards, you have to make it emit inwards. You have to work on yourself without saying, what am I going to do? I'm only one person. This is not going to change the whole world. Well, actually, this is the only way to change the whole world. You cannot control the forces outside of you, but what you can control is what's inside you. What you can do is changes in your different levels, and that definitely has an impact outside and definitely has an impact on the higher divine aspects of life. So this is your cosmic responsibility, is to embody that concept of as above, so below. So when we understand these concepts, how the Egyptians understood them and digested them, we start activating the intelligence of our heart. We start seeing things differently, which makes things look at us differently. And this is where the change happens. And when things see us differently as we are, they present themselves in their true form and shape. So we start seeing things more clearly, without the masks, without the additions, without the veils, without the conditionings, without all of these things. But it happens from within first. So, and we talk within the course on few other concepts also that are in a triad or in the sacred three concepts, the sacred pyramid. And this is all like sort of an introduction before we start getting into the course itself, which is the story of creation, and we start uh, taking a bit by bit, and with those concepts in mind, we apply them on how the universe and the cosmos was created, and how it is a cyclic process, and how by understanding it, we start understanding more about ourselves by applying these concepts, by keeping in mind as above, so below, the correspondence, by applying the pairing or the opposing forces concept and the synchronicity, and many other beautiful concepts that will keep you amazed, and you'll be able to start applying them on yourself and start your initiation process. And it's a beautiful, truly amazing journey. So I hope you enjoyed that part, and I hope you get curious about the course, and we'll see you there. Thank you.